He's like, please don't shoot me. But why they shot the black boy and not the fat boy?
You know, because the thing with the blacks, you know.
I don't know who's guilty. It's gonna be on.
North Miami Police commander involved in a controversial shooting last summer will soon be out of a job. An internal investigation has revealed Emile Olant misled the police chief. Olant said he wasn't at the scene when behavioral therapist Charles Kinsey was shot and injured by Officer Jonathan Aleda. That's after Kinsey was on the ground with his hands in the air. Kinsey tried protecting an autistic patient whose toy truck was mistaken for a gun. Police officer bonding out of jail tonight after being arrested for shooting an unarmed therapist on a North Miami street.
Charles Kinsey was lying with his hands high in the air. Next to him, his autistic patient with a toy truck. At first, officers thought that toy was a gun.
But moments later, a clarification on the radio. Still, Officer Jonathan Aleda fired 3 shots.
Local 10 News reporter Leanne Modajon is live from the jail in West Miami-Dade with more on the charges he's facing. Leanne.
And certainly there are some people in our community tonight that feel satisfied, even pleased with this arrest. The ACLU for one, the attorney representing that autistic man as well. Mr. Aleda walked out of the jail here earlier tonight, but today the Police Benevolent Association said that this arrest sends a bad message to law enforcement officers. Anything to say to the Kinseys? Jonathan Aleda walking out of jail stone-faced and silent. The 4-year SWAT veteran facing charges of attempted manslaughter and culpable negligence stemming from the controversial shooting of behavioral therapist Charles Kinsey.
This is a very unfortunate incident from day one.
It was July 18th, 2016 when Kinsey was trying to help Arnaldo Rios, a 26-year-old man with autism. Kinsey is seen here in the middle of a North Miami intersection with Rios trying to calm him. Officers arrived after 911 calls came in. Callers concerned about the object in Rios's hands.
I don't know if it's a gun, but he had something like the shape like a gun.
Turns out that object was a toy truck. On video, you hear Kinsey trying to tell officers it's not a gun. Aleda responded to the scene along with other officers. He's seen here holding a long rifle. The arrest warrant says Aleda fired his gun from 152 feet away, even after a fellow officer said on the radio that Rios did not appear to be holding a firearm.
This situation is really about justice for Mr. Kinsey and Mr. Rios. So from that standpoint, I was very excited.
But not everyone is so excited.
It shows how incompetent the state attorney's office is.
Luis Fuste of Dade's PBA thinks Aleda's arrest is politically motivated.
Kathy Rundle hasn't arrested an officer on duty in her 23-year tenure. We feel that this is nothing more than a political arrest.
Why this one rose to the level that she felt she could or would prosecute, that's something only the state attorney could answer.
Now, Aleda's commanding officer, Emile Holland, faced an internal investigation. Back in August, he allegedly falsified the report relating to this entire incident. His attorney says that the state attorney's office decision to file criminal charges against Aleda and not Holland vindicates his client. The North Miami city manager says that an internal affairs investigation is still underway. Holland wants his job back. Reporting in West Miami-Dade, Leanne Modajon, Local 10 News.
North Miami Police Commander to be fired following report on Charles Kinsey shooting. By Lance Dixon and Charles Robin. L. Dixon at MiamiHerald.com. LinkedIn. Google+. Pinterest. Reddit. Print. Order reprint of this story. The commander in charge of the scene when police shot behavioral therapist Charles Kinsey was notified Wednesday he was being fired after an internal affairs investigation by North Miami Police concluded that he hindered an investigation into the shooting and misled the police chief. North Miami Police Commander Emile Holland was in charge last year when Jonathan Aleda, a North Miami SWAT member, fired his rifle and struck Kinsey in the leg. The mental health care worker was obeying police commands, lying on his back with his arms in the air and begging officers not to fire when he was shot. Kinsey was lying next to Arnaldo Rios, a severely autistic 27-year-old man who Kinsey cared for and who was sitting in the middle of the road playing with a shiny toy truck. Alda, who said he mistook the toy for a weapon, said he was aiming at Rios when he fired, but missed, and struck Kinsey. Kinsey survived. During the Miami-Dade State Attorney's investigation, Holland said he was told the shiny object in Rios's hand might have been a toy and that he was headed for his patrol car to get binoculars so he could have a more clear view, when Alda fired. Within 3 weeks of the shooting, the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office concluded that Holland told the truth when he said he was not at the scene when shots were fired. On Wednesday, North Miami released the internal affairs findings into Holland's actions that day, and they directly contradict the state's findings. The city's investigation quoted 2 officers at the scene who said Holland was gone less than 30 seconds and that the commander was standing near them looking through binoculars when Alda fired his rifle. The city determined it would have taken a minimum of 1 minute and 22 seconds for Holland to race from the scene to his patrol car to retrieve his binoculars, then return. The city also said Holland misled Police Chief Gary Eugene by saying he wasn't present during the shooting. As a result, the report says, Holland was not separated and interviewed about the shooting, a standard practice for witnesses. Holland. Jody Henningham, Center, was one of several protesters at the North Miami Police Department after the shooting of Charles Kinsey. Commander Emil Holland, left, was told he was being fired by the city after an internal affairs investigation. Shannon Kaesel-Skagestelli at MiamiHerald.com. The investigation revealed Commander Holland appears to have been present prior, during, and after the shooting incident, the Internal Affairs report concluded. Commander Holland was the highest-ranking officer on the scene and should have taken command of the scene. The city's findings turned on an interview with Eugene, who said that he initially believed Holland's account but changed his view after learning that the officer gave a radio dispatch from the scene but did not offer further instruction to other officers before Alda fired his shots. There was a gap between his radio transmission and what the officer did, Eugene said. He lied to me, the commander completely lied to me. Holland's attorney, Michael Joseph, said Holland is being used as a fall guy in the incident. The city administration is doubling down on a lie that they pushed on the day of the shooting and in the days following the shooting, Joseph said. Myself and my client look forward to a full exoneration and for the truth to fully come out. City manager Larry Spring said the decision to fire Holland was made by the acting chief, Larry Juriga, because Eugene is out on medical leave. Spring described the investigation and Wednesday's decision as part of the due process that we promised the community we would follow. Like with any department, we're going to have some issues that need to be addressed and we're going to address them, Spring said. Spring Kinsey. North Miami City Manager Larry Spring addresses the press regarding the shooting of Charles Kinsey by OFC Jonathan Alda. Emily Mitchett at MiamiHerald.com. The city's decision, made after the state attorney cleared Holland of any wrongdoing, comes as Catherine Fernandez-Rundle faces backlash over her office's lack of prosecutions of corrupt or violent law enforcement officers. Fernandez-Rundle, who has been state attorney since 1993, is considering a run for governor or attorney general in 2018. The Miami Herald recently documented several inconsistent or misleading statements from Fernandez-Rundle after criticism of her office's decision that there was insufficient evidence to bring criminal charges against 4 corrections officers accused of using scalding showers to punish inmate Darren Rainey at the Dade Correctional Institution. Rainey, a 50-year-old schizophrenic black man, died in custody at the facility in 2012. Holland told state investigators last summer that after he made a radio dispatch that Rios appeared to be loading a weapon, he left. The memo stated that he had returned to his police vehicle, over a city block from the location of the victims of the shooting, to retrieve his binoculars when he heard gunshots a few minutes later. Holland, who had been with the department since 2000, had remained suspended with pay in recent months. His attorney has argued for the officer's reinstatement since February and is considering further legal action after filing an Equal Employment Opportunity Commission complaint earlier this year. Holland had been promoted to commander about a week before the Kinsey shooting. Before joining the North Miami Department, Holland was an officer with the Pinecrest Police Department. The findings are the latest wrinkle in the fallout from last summer's shooting. In an interview with Florida Department of Law Enforcement investigators, less than 2 weeks after the shooting, Eugene described his department as being in disarray and plagued with infighting before, during and after the incident. The interview also revealed that Eugene thought his staff was untrained and not prepared to handle homicide investigations. He said when he got to the shooting scene, officers were trampling over everything, tainting possible evidence. The city has since changed its training procedures for officers. Truck. The toy truck that Arnaldo Rios was playing with and that was initially mistaken for a weapon by North Miami police officers. Emily Mitchett, North Miami Police Department. The shooting of Kinsey, who is black, came just weeks after the fatal police-involved shootings of 2 unarmed black men, Philando Castile in Minnesota and Alton Sterling in Louisiana. It was another incident in the midst of heightened tensions between police and the community and put North Miami in a national spotlight. In April, state prosecutors charged Alda with attempted manslaughter and culpable negligence. It was the first time in the past 28 years the state attorney's office had charged a police officer. Alda remains suspended with pay. Legal battles still loom for the department. Kinsey filed a federal lawsuit last August against Alda and last week added the city, Holland and other officers as defendants. And last week an attorney filed a lawsuit on behalf of Rios' family against the city and multiple officers. In both lawsuits, Kinsey and Rios claim that the police used excessive force and wrongfully arrested the men after the shooting. Charles Rabin, 305-376-3672, at Chuck Rabin. Lance Dixon, 305-376-3708, at L Dixon_3. Charles Kinsey is shown lying in the street with his patient Arnaldo Rios before being hit by a bullet from an assault rifle fired by North Miami OFC Jonathan Alda. Charles Kinsey is shown lying in the street with his patient Arnaldo Rios before being hit by a bullet from an assault rifle fired by North Miami OFC Jonathan Alda.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out. to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now, you know, $1 a day, I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.